What's up, guys? We're in my shop. It's balls hot. I don't have an AC in here, so we're cracking open a 805 beer to have to cool off a little bit for this video. So first things first, I'm gonna do a video real fast, sort of fast, on reloading. Very first thing I'm gonna say is I am not a pro reloader. I'm not even an amateur. I am rookie. Been reloading for a few months, but I was really scared of reloading. I always said I didn't want to get into it, mainly because it just seemed really daunting. Now that I've started, it's fun. It's just a cool way to come outside when it's not burning hot and just reload. It kind of just calms you down at the end of the night, or at least calms me down. But I realized, I inherited a bunch of stuff, and now that I've been doing it, I've realized that I could have got into this fairly cheap with very little stuff. Like, I always was like, man, you got to buy all this stuff to reload, and it's just going to be a huge money pit. Still kind of a money pit, but you can get by with a lot less stuff. So I'm going to start this off with, we're going to go over a few accessories, okay? A few things you're going to need, and also maybe some tricks. So you needed a caliper, right? You got to be able to measure the brass length to make sure it's not stretched too far. I don't know if stretched is the right term, but make sure it's not over the maximum length. And also you need to be able to check the seating depth of your bullet, and you're going to need to know that based off your gun. I mean, because there's some that, well, I reloaded some and I left them a little further out because I saw someone else who did that and it wouldn't feed through my gun. I had to bump them back in another, I don't remember now, 10,000ths. I mean, it was super minimal, but that tiny extra bump is what made them feed into my gun. So you will need to have a dial caliper. Now here's the thing. I have this is a Mac Tools digital caliper. This is from when I was a mechanic. It's not cheap. It's super nice. This is what I inherited from my grandpa. This is an Rcbs dial caliper. It is made of plastic. It's still accurate, but it's cheap. I'm sure you could find them. I'm sure you could find a digital one cheap, but this right here, I'll tell you right now, there is on the back of this, that is cheat sheet measurements for your actual maximum lengths on your case lengths. Now, this thing right here, made of plastic, it's accurate, but here's the best part. I bet you could get on eBay and find one of these for next to nothing. Caliper, you will have to have one of these. Now I'm going to do one of my little cheat things, or shortcuts that I found that I really like. This is a Lyman easy case length gauge. This was on Amazon, 24 bucks or something. I don't remember exactly. It has tons of common calibers on here, and it's cut to the length. It's made out of metal. You're not gonna, check a bunch of sizes and take chunks out of plastic. This is gonna last. It does have an actual inch scale and metric scale on here, and I know my lighting sucks in here. Sorry, shop lighting sucks. I need to maybe put more lights in, but you are going to want something more accurate than this for the actual bullet depth seating. But this will tell you if your case is over the max length, because I'll tell you what, sliding it back, putting brass in, sliding it in, rereading it, slide it out every time kind of sucks. 38 special brass. I'm going to see if we can get this to read. 38 special right there. Just go take, and it's kind of hard to do from the angle. Slide it in. Yep. Okay, we're not too long. Lines right up. You're good. Now you do need to, I was trying to do it from a weird angle to see it, but you do need to make sure it goes all the way in and it's flush on the back, so you're not cockeyed in there. But that's your max length. So if it doesn't fit there, it's too long and you have to trim it. Now, this is where kind of saving money comes in. Don't buy a case trimmer right from the beginning. Throw that stuff in a Folgers coffee can if it's over the max length, and save it for later, or you know, throw it away. If it's over the length and it stretches that much, maybe it's not very good brass. I don't have a trimmer, and I'm not buying a trimmer anytime soon, because if it's over the length, I'm probably going to get rid of it. If I shoot a bunch of a certain brass and every single one of them's long, I'm not going to shoot that brass anymore. Okay, that's just me. Obviously, that's going to cost you more money in the long run. We're going to bump this camera down just a touch. Getting a little bit of a weird glare from that light, but it's just me. It might cost you more in the long run of brass, but if you just save it, Folgers coffee can, down the line, you could buy a trimmer, trim all of them. Anyways, so absolutely have to have a caliper. This is a cool, handy dandy tool for 25 bucks. I bet money so you could get these both for under 50 bucks. You could probably find a cheap digital one for under 50 bucks. You want to be careful you don't get too cheap that it's not accurate. That could bite you in the ass. So next tool you're going to have, I just saw it and I moved it. Hold on, grabbing it right here. This little tool right here. This is, you're going to take your brass after your full length resize. You're going to do this, cleans out your inside. You're going to do this. Or well, no, this chamfers the inside. This deburrs the outside. That's the technical term. This tool right here, I think was like 10 bucks. 12 bucks, something like that. And you need to do it more than just you need to actually do it good to actually treat it. Now, I'm going to grab one tool over here. This is, I'm going to pan over here. In here I've got another tool. This is actually a little, well, not that one. A little more expensive. It's just a better handle. Same tool. And then you can pop this off, put the other tool, whoops, pop that off. It just unscrews, put the other tool on. This is one other tool. This is a primer pocket tool. Same thing, it screws on and off. You probably do need one of these, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you absolutely need one of these right from the beginning, right? Sorry, we're going to turn this again back over here. I'm not going to tell you right from the beginning you absolutely need one of these. I mean, it's just a bunch of wires shoved in there. I'm pretty sure you could make something super simple. If you had a wire brush, you could just take a wire brush, you know. I don't think this is an absolutely needed thing, but it's super cheap, super simple. So, you know, might as well have one of those. One other thing, we're going to pan back over here because this is another thing I didn't grab from the beginning. These are actually case neck brushes. This is an old school one. This is actually says 30 caliber. Now they have like a small, medium, large. Well, you do want one. Like I said, you want one. Do you absolutely need one? No. Here's the reason why. If you have a gun cleaning kit for your gun, if you have a 25 caliber gun and you have a gun cleaning kit that has one of those little scrapers for your 20, say you have a 25-06 and you have one of these little scraper ends for a 25-06 to clean your gun, you can clean the case neck, right? You know, so same thing. You don't absolutely need to go buy one of these, but I wanted to show them because you do want it for reloading, but you don't need to run out and buy those. They're cheap if you wanted to. But if you have a gun cleaning kit for your gun, you probably have a brush you could use. So, this tool you will need. You want to deburr and chamfer that brass. Like I said, this one is super cheap. It gets tiresome. You'll get arm pump. So, this is one of those things that I splurged on. This is a Hornady Case Prep Duo. I think they were like 50 bucks. You've got your chamfer tool, your deburr tool, and that's all it is. It's a trigger or reverse. Now, I do believe that these say you run this in reverse to actually use it. One of the other things with this, which now I probably won't remember, oops, this tool is built so this piece will actually come off somehow here. There, hopefully I didn't break nothing. That comes off. That's just a regular screwdriver, right? So you could actually kind of sell this to the wife if you need to, like, hey babe, but it's a screwdriver for in the house for when I need to hang up your pictures, right? Then you walk outside and you can hook this back up. I like it just because if you're reloading a bunch, like right now I've got 300, 400, 38 special brass sitting here. I need to do every one of them. Yeah, doing this to every single one of them sucks. I did it to about 100 rounds and was done. So I went and bought this. So like I said, another thing you can splurge on, but you don't have to. Not in the beginning, but where it's you know, a dual tool, you might be able to sell that to the wife, get away with it. So you absolutely need a way to lube your cases. This is a Rcbs case lube pad, and then there's just some lube you put on here. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it. I ruined a resizing die because I didn't put on enough. Bit me in the ass, cost me, well, I had to go buy a new sizing die. So, have to lube it. There is a spray lube. I honestly think it's cheap enough and easy enough that I would go that route. I went this route because I already had it. So, make sure you are lubing all your brass. So, that's kind of the accessories, right? You got to have the caliper. You got to have the little deburr chamfer tool. And, yeah, like I said, pocket primer, case neck brush. It's not an absolute need, right? You can kind of get by without. Now, the one thing you will need, sorry, it was a little further away than I thought, is a way to measure your powder. So a powder grain scale, which I have over here. I'm not going to move it right now because I have it leveled. We'll look at it in a sec. But most guys have a powder thrower or an electronic one that measures it for you. The cheap way to do this, if you're starting out trying to get by cheap, go buy one of these. This is an Rcbs powder trickler. Okay, there's a hole in this, and the other end is open and it's threaded all the way through. And what you do is you turn this, it just, the powder falls in, and then it, as you spin it, it follows the threads and falls out. One powder at a time. I have a powder thrower. I set it a couple grains low and I throw it, and then what I do is I sit here and I trickle every single one to get it exact. I want everything as close as I can get it. Consistency is the key to accuracy, right? So, but here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want to try and save money, go buy this. As long as your hole is facing straight up, you can fill this full of powder, and all you have to do is do this, and you lean it and it'll pour powder out fast. So instead of spending money on an actual powder thrower, you could literally fill this up and just tip it and have it measuring on your grain scale, and just slowly go until it gets really close. Spin that, get it exact every time. I use a powder thrower, and then I use this every time to get it exact. I'm probably going to turn around and get an electronic powder thrower that measures them and just kicks it out for you every time, because it's so much easier. But budget wise, that right there, I don't remember, $20. You don't need a fancy powder thrower. Yes, it's going to take longer, but if we're going for budget, this right here will do the same thing. It's just going to take you longer because you're going to have to fill it up, dump it. Now, they do have the, I forgot to grab this, a funnel that's built to fit over brass better than just, you know, a random funnel. It is nice to have one of these. I bet you money, if you know anybody that reloads, they got a pile of these, they'll probably give you one. This is a old school Reading grain scale. This is not electronic. You move it just like an old weight scale at a hospital. I bet you this thing's older than me. In fact, I'd guarantee it. Bet you money says you can find one of those on eBay for next to nothing, or, you know, buy an electronic one. You do want it accurate. You know, you don't want to go super cheap on a digital one. You don't want to get on Amazon and buy like a $10 digital one. You do want one that's accurate. This thing zeros with this particular thing. And then I just set my powder trickler. So I take this, set it under here. This is my powder thrower. I throw a load of powder into here, and then I set that on there, set my powder trickler up, and I just trickle powder one at a time till I get it exactly where I want. Like I said, instead of having this powder thrower, fill this full of powder, tilt it, it'll pour out slowly, and then trickle your load in, get it exact, and you're done. You don't need to spend money on this. These really probably aren't all that expensive. I think I've seen some for like under 100, but that's money you could be saving. Okay, now we're gonna move on to this right here. This is the, I don't know what you'd call it, the cornerstone of your reloading. This is a single stage Rcbs rock chucker press. You have to have a press if you're going to do this. There's no way around it. It's pretty simple. You do one, it's called a single stage because you're doing one thing at a time. This is a full length resizing die, and you'll full length resize, it'll pop the primer out each time you do that. Put a new one in, go again. This one actually has, this is actually a primer tool, and this piece here goes in here. This is filled with primers. I filled it up. You pull this pin, they fall in, and then you push that back, one falls in, and then when this is all the way up, it'll slide in like that. As you lower it, it'll seat your primer. If you don't have a priming tool on your press, you will need to get a hand primer tool. I don't have one, can't show you. And then you will have to get the dies for your particular caliber. It's 38 special caliber resizing die. So we're just gonna, well, maybe we aren't gonna, just real quick. Okay, so here's our lube pad. I'm gonna reach over here, 38 special. Throw a little lube on there. Make sure it's got a nice little film on it. And you can do too much. It is a thing. I'm gonna move that just so I don't smack it. Okay, there's a brass. You're going to come up, push the primer out, full length resized. Primer's gone, we're resized. That's all it takes right there. We're going to throw that in. These ones have all been full length resized. So, thing I'm going to tell you, your dies come with instructions. I would say read them every single time, because you need to set the height of this, you need to set the lock ring, and you can set the height of this. You want that exact every single time, or you're going to have inconsistencies. Now, I'm going to go over one other thing, and I'm probably not going to drag it all the way out, but a case tumbler. I got on Amazon, or Cabela's. Cabela's has a case tumbler rotary tool. It's like 60 bucks, 50 bucks. Comes with the media, the polish, the tumbler, and it comes with this tool, which is I don't know, I can't think of the word, a sifter. Anyway, it was like 50 bucks. All this brass was brass my grandpa had stashed. I threw it in, cleaned it all, then I'm going to resize it. I'm going to check the overall length. I will chamfer and deburr it, and then I'm going to throw it all back in the tumbler. I'm going to tumble it to get all this crap off so it's nice and clean, and then I'll load my powder, my bullet, press it, and we're done. So there's a list of everything you need. The only other thing you're going to need is a book or internet access. Most places now have that info on the internet, so you can get your powder measurement, your stuff, and then you're going to just need brass, bullets, powder, you know, that thing. The thing with that, that's an investment. You buy it, and you're going to have to continue buying it. It's consumable. It's a consumable investment. You got to buy it to shoot more, and you're going to end up using it up, but it is what it is. So anyways, we're going to cut this off. I'm going to go through probably a couple actually reloading, doing some of this stuff, and we'll put it all together and have a video. So I'm going to have some more beer. Have a good one, guys. We're going to reload some 38 specials.